The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us on this Wednesday. And just about every Wednesday, we spend a few moments with the Mayor of Fall River, Mayor Paul Coogan, who's with us again today. Mayor, how are you?
I'm doing okay, Keith. How about you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. I actually want to start, and I know there's so many balls in the air when it comes to, President Trump's inauguration a week ago and some of the things that he's done. And I know you've been asked before about how it may impact Fall River. So I just want to ask you what you know right now on some of these topics. Obviously he'd like to do more in terms of deporting undocumented individuals. Have you heard at all, either from police or other sources, whether that has been an issue thus far here in Fall River? I know they've been targeting schools. So I guess what have the schools been doing if something were to arise?
Oh, I don't believe they've been targeting schools in Fall River. I've talked to the superintendent a couple times about that. They're not going to be, I don't believe, walking into schools. All of our schools are secure. You got to be buzzed in. And when there's someone there for a child, we make sure the parent is notified and present. So I don't think that that's going to happen too much in Fall River, not from what I hear. I did hear from the police that they were a couple of criminals they were looking to pick up in the city of Fall River, but these were adults and they had some very serious criminal acts on their record, so nothing about that bothered me. We don't want them in Fall River anyway, so I was not concerned about that. But that's all I've heard, and it hasn't been, I haven't seen anybody. I haven't seen anything, but I did hear there was an inquiry about a few individuals they were looking for, adults. I have not heard a word on schools.
Yeah. I mean, has there been discussions from leadership at the school department with schools if someone were to approach someone from ICE were to come to the school, how to handle that?
Yes. I mean, like I said, we handle all guests or people that are going to the schools the same way. We buzz them. They come into the double doors or they come into the office and we talk to them. But we do not, people have to be able to identify their own child, what they're there for. Why are they dismissing them to go to the doctors, for example? Even the police are not allowed to come in and question a juvenile. So nothing's going to change for us. As far as I'm concerned, they should, if they have interest in a child, they can get them after school or on the weekends. There's nothing that tells me they have to disrupt the school day. They can go meet with the parents and take care of their business whatever way they have to. But we don't really want to see those people walking into schools to disrupt learning any more than, as I said, our local police don't do that. We have student resource officers in the buildings, but those people are there every day and they're well known to the kids and the families. So that's completely apples and oranges. It's the person coming in on a warrant or coming in to talk to a child. I did see something in Chicago. It turned out later it was actually the Secret Service investigating a threat. So that's different than ICE looking for kids to take out of the country or take away from their family or whatever. So we're going to go with what we got right now and see how it plays out.
Yeah. Another item the new president looked to institute earlier this week was sort of a funding freeze, federal dollars that may trickle down to not only governments like Fall River, but also a lot of community organizations. There's been a stay in that temporarily. I know, the city does get a lot of federal money, I think primarily through state resources. Right. I mean, have you heard at all anything that may come down if this were to continue, how it could impact the city?
Well, I had a conversation yesterday with our Congressman Jake Auchincloss, and he sent me an update last night. Like, obviously, you look at community development, Title I, school money. Mike Dion's entire program is mostly all federal money. So those were not what they were targeting. They were targeting some specific things, but they put these things out with a broad swath and say, we're going to stop all federal funding or this and that. And that's not what they were about. They weren't touching Social Security, Medicare, Head Start. It sounds horrific, and it did the same thing to me. But at the same time, That's not what this was about. They were looking at some very specific programs that they wanted to dig into very quickly, and it wasn't many of the local ones here in Fall River, from what I got from our congressman yesterday.
All right. Again, something we're going to be following, and I know
Oh,
that
yeah.
you'll be on top of it if something were to take place that may negatively rather impact the city of Fall River.
Right.
The next topic, I actually, before we start, just to let people know a little bit behind the scenes, I always tell you what we're going to talk about in some topics. And I said to you jokingly that, normally I would have asked you this next question on November 6th after the last election, as we head into an election season here in Fall River. We are going to be in election season here in Fall River before we know it. We'll be talking a lot about it between now and then. But let me just ask you, are your plans to run for a fourth term later this year?
Yes, I am. There's a lot of work we want to finish up. I think things are going very smoothly in the city right now. There's tremendous progress going on. There's so many good things going on. I ride around the city all the time, and I note all the houses that are being renovated, new construction going on, buildings being renovated, businesses opening up. There's a lot of good things going on in the city of Fall River right now. It's funny because a friend of mine had built some condos down north, and he was giving me a blow by blow of who was moving into them. And just this week, we had a young couple come down and move into Fall River from Waltham. We had an attorney move into one of the condos from Barrington. And last night, he sold one at full price to a family from Assonet. So people are moving into Fall River, and that's a very positive thing for the local economy, for the overall financial health of the city, and for making the community more livable. I was down the other day when I was having these basal cells taken off my head, and I could see the train going behind the place, and it was very quiet. It was humming along back and forth a few times, and it was just so impressive to see. You look out the front window, they're renovating 79. You look out the back window, the train's going by. It was different for Fall River for me. I've been here for a long time, and it was great to see that kind of progress.
Yeah. Let me ask you, as you look at, heading into a potential fourth term, I'm sure there are days that you go home that you say, is it really worth it, right? Everyone has good days and bad days. How do you overcome that, and how does that drive you as you maybe look for a fourth term?
Go to the gym in the morning. That's what I do. I'm at the Y at 5 o'clock, 5:10 every day. No, you just have to stay positive. It's hysterical to me because so many times people come to me with something. They said, "Oh, did you see this on Facebook? And did you see that?" And I like Dave Chappelle's description of Facebook. It really isn't a place. It's just a place for someone to sit at a keyboard and type whatever they want, unvetted, unfiltered, unverified. And I really am really so far past it. I just know that we try to put up mostly all positive messages. The other day we put up something about the skating rink, and people were saying, well, the gentleman from Tiverton did that. Well, he did. He did a great job fixing a section of that rink. But because of the size of that rink, we needed the Fall River Fire Department to step up and help us to pump some water into there to level out the whole thing. And being there this weekend and seeing all those kids skating and playing hockey across the whole rink, thanking the gentleman for Tiverton that definitely came down and said, this is what you have to do to a section of it. It's great for the city. I'm more than happy to thank everybody that pitches in to make the city better. And I tip my hat to the gentleman that came over from Tiverton, and I tip my hat to the Fall River Fire Department and the Park Department that are maintaining it now, so people can go out there and have some fun skating.
Yeah. All right, Mayor, as always, thank you for your time. We'll talk again next week. Take care.
Okay, Keith, thank you.
All right. And thank you for joining us here in FRC Media. Have a great rest of your day.